Hi guys, Kevin here. I'm the author of Call Center Training Tips. This is a second live video. I actually made one earlier. It was like an hour long, and then turns out that there's something wrong with the Facebook app, so the video did not publish, and I was like talking for at least an hour, and all that is gone. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to do another live video. So hopefully, because I already prepared the lessons and I want to give some value. So this video will probably be shorter. Okay, so tips for people who are at um, different stages of like their call center career. So whether you're just thinking about applying or you've already started looking for work and you've already been through around five or more call centers, or maybe you just got hired and your goal is to pass training, or maybe you're struggling with stats and you want to become a top agent, or you're experiencing burnout and you would like to begin using your call center job as a stepping stone for greater things. Now, um, okay, so yeah, let's begin. Um, so if you're thinking, a lot of the messages I receive is a lot of the messages I receive involve people asking for permission to like if they can get hired or if I think that they can get hired in the call center. And like I receive a message like, "Hi, my name is so and so. I'm a factory worker. I'm a department store sales clerk. I'm a whatever. And do you think I can get hired in a call center?" And so that's kind of like coming off as a person with very little confidence. So, and I don't blame you, because like if you're not sure, if you have some self-doubt, that's normal. That's part of that's part of being alive. And if you're afraid, then it's okay. What's not okay is staying afraid. So oh, live viewer, what's your name? I can't see. There's uh yeah. So um my solution, um here, it's this is called a notebook. So on your notebook, you want to write things down. You want to write down your goal. Why do you want to work in the call center? You want to write down your um like your objectives. Like, write down your age. So maybe you're 18, 19, 20. And then what's your goal for that age? Like, what do you want to accomplish? You want a job. Okay, yeah, sure. You want to get hired in a call center. And then why do you want that job? What are you buying? What are you paying for? What are you what are your plans, right? So, wow, there's a bunch of people. I wasn't There's like four people here. Um, Hi there. Thanks for watching this live. Anyway, so yeah, what are your plans? Write it down on your notebook, and then on your notebook, you can also write down maybe what are your strengths, like what can you contribute to your employer? What are you good at? What are what are skills that you already have? What are the good compliments about you that you've already received? And then from there, just practice writing things down. Just fill your notebook with information about you. And then once you have that done, um, and once that you've practiced writing details about you on a notebook, encountering an interviewer will be a lot easier. Because if you know the, what do you call that? I'm starting to get sleepy. Uh, so when you go through an interview, the usual question, Mr. Applicant, can you tell me something about yourself? And you don't know the answer. The reason why you don't know the answer is you haven't explored yourself. And um, a lot of people, you probably heard this advice before. A lot of people say, you want to practice a speech, you want to practice an interview, um, practice in front of a mirror. And that's hard. I mean, for me, that's hard. Like, I don't know about you, but I have difficulty practicing in front of a mirror. Actually, doing this live video, like, I have the phone facing me and I can see myself and I can see, like, um, the number of people watching this live. It's very difficult. So, in, instead of practicing in front of instead of practicing in front of a mirror, I would rather practice on paper, because on paper I can see my answer and I can change my answer if it's wrong. I can just write it. Maybe I need another page. Maybe I just need to cross it out. But writing things on paper will make things easier. So, um, so yeah, those are my advice. Like, if you're thinking about applying, like, just just answer some basic questions like, what's your name, where do you live, what's your previous job, or what's your current job, what's the story behind that. Just write it down, like, so you know if it's any good or it's not. Like, if you read your story, like, um I'm a shy person and I had some difficulty talking to people, so I got myself a job in sales. And the good thing about sales jobs is they provide sales training. They teach you how to deal with people, and that's a good example. Um, 5 or more job applications. If you've had 5 or more job applications and you're failing, uh, oh, hello there. Um, if you have 5 or more job applications and you're still having trouble getting hired, I would suggest that you continue to use your notebook. So, yeah, your notebook can store a lot of important information about you. So, let's say, for example, your problem is you already applied in more than 5 call centers and you're still not getting hired. Then chances are the problem is, like, very small. So, let's say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like, get 5 pages on the call center. I mean, 5 pages on my notebook, and then at the top of the page, I'd write the name of the call center. So it can be Lorica or Convergys or Accenture or whatever. Just write that down, and then next to the on the next line, I'm going to write down the name, like, the main problem. So what's the main problem? So you answer the question, why didn't I get hired? There, okay? And then your goal is to fill this page, all right? So the next thing you write down is, like, what are my mistakes? And then you write that down, like, what mistakes did you make? Do you have any wrong answers to your interviews? Do you have any weak answers? So sometimes the problem is not a wrong answer. Sometimes it's just a weak answer. So you have a weak answer to an interview, and you don't convince the interviewer to hire you. So that's usually what happens. So you write down the wrong answers, write down the weak answers, write down the questions that you had trouble answering. So, like questions you weren't able to answer, questions where you just froze up and you had no idea what to say. And write that down. Like, I'm sure, like, if you've gone through more than five, you've forgotten some of them. Just try to remember. If you can't, that's okay, but try to remember as many details as possible. And then at the end, uh, so you write down, say, five call center companies, write down the problems, write down the mistakes, write down the weak answers, the questions you can answer. And then the next part is you write down your solution. So what am I going to do from now on? Like, what am I going to do to fix this? And after you have figured out like solutions, you can go to the next call center and present yourself in a way that you're more experienced, you're smarter, you are you're trying to so you get better overall. So yeah, like personally, when I was looking to get hired in the call center, I'm pretty sure I didn't get hired on the first six job applications. I remember having a lot of experience with failure. So I'm gonna give you a few stories. I usually share this to my students who've paid me to tutor them. But so like my first job application was in Convergys, and if uh, I already wrote a lesson about that on the website. And in Convergys, my first uh, I went and passed the final interview, but I didn't get the job. What happened there was that um, I saw the final boss, the one who did the final interview. She told me that what do you call that? She told me that I'm hired, and she told me that she's just printing my contract, and I saw her printing the contract on her computer. And after she printed the contract, well, while she was printing the contract, if she asked me if like, oh, I can see that you haven't, well, that you're not done with college yet. What are your plans? So I told her, like, I had no idea how to answer that question. Honestly, I have no idea, but I didn't tell her that. But like in my mind, like, what do I say? And so my best answer at the time was, because I was thinking to myself, well, maybe this is a test. I think education, well, I've heard, well, people have told me that education is the most important thing for someone my age. So I thought, like, yeah, well, I plan to work while studying. And it turns out that that's a bad answer. So if you haven't finished school yet, and they ask you if you want to work while studying, the answer should be no. Because it turns out that if you start working in a call center, you follow a call center schedule, especially a night shift schedule, it'll be extremely difficult to get hired. I mean, it's extremely difficult to stay and keep up with your responsibilities at your call center work and keep up with your school responsibilities because those things are hard. So the idea is you want to work in a call center, save money, and maybe after 2 years you can come go to school if there's an opening in your schedule that you'll be able to do that, go ahead. But if you can't, you can just like you can just stop working and just go back to school. So uh yeah, like that's like one of my mistakes. I told them that I want to work while studying. And what happened next was like she printed the contract and she didn't give me the contract. She didn't give me the job because I made that mistake of telling her that I wanted to work while studying. And I remember all these mistakes. Another mistake, I went to ambergris solutions. They're now called Telus. I had trouble saying ambergris because back then I saw ambergris, like that's spelled AMBRGRIS. I had no idea the S was silent. So yeah, I made that mistake in an interview. I also made the mistake, like they said, tell me something about yourself, and I wasn't writing things down about me back then, so I had no idea. I tell them something about myself depends on my mood, and it turns out that that's a really bad strategy. So yeah, if so moving forward, what's a good way to answer the tell me something about yourself? Just write down stuff about yourself. Write down 100 things about yourself. Write down things that you like. Write down things that you don't like. Write down things that make you special, skills, beliefs, like anything. Write down your religion. Write down your diet. Write down your exercise routine. Write down 1,000 things about yourself, and then pick something that's appropriate for the interview question. And from there, you'll get better, right? Just try to get better. Okay. So, um, wait, I'm trying to fix something. Anyway, so yeah, that's how you deal with interview questions. Just write things down. Use the notebook. A notebook is really cheap. You can get one for like a nice one would be 50 pesos. You have more money, buy a nicer one for 150 or something. Uh, Pens, use a nice pen because you want to write a lot of things down. Um, what else? What else can I share? There's a lot. There's a lot of things I can. Okay, now if you just got hired and you're trying to pass training. Oh yeah, by the way, if you have any questions, just drop your questions in the comments. I'll do my best to answer it. Okay. Um, I'm honestly getting bored because this is my second time. My second time doing this live. I tried doing it earlier around 6 a.m. and I spoke for an hour, and then I found out that the live video didn't go through, and it didn't even upload. So I felt like I wasted time talking for an hour. So yeah, I'm sorry if I'm a little bored, but I'll try to do my best to give everything again. Um, okay. Let me just check my notes. I have some notes now. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, so let's say you just got hired in a call center and you want to pass training. What's the most important tip that I can give you? The most important tip is attendance. Attendance is the number one reason. Like 90% of the time, a person does not pass training. Um, A person does not pass call center training because of attendance. If you're late for a couple of times or maybe 3 times, depending on the company, different companies have different attendance policies. Uh, yeah, just make sure that you arrive early all the time. You're never late, never absent. You're good. And yeah, listen to your trainer, take notes. So, but the most important thing is attendance. Make sure. Uh, what else? What else do we need? Okay, so now, so that's the important thing. Like, so if you already passed training, and then you're not regularized yet, like you're struggling with stats. Uh, Most important tip I can give you is to make sure you have enough energy during your shift. Make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure you arrive early, and like just have enough energy, because most of the problems with stats, like for example, AHT, quality, um, what else, if you're having problems with getting sales, if you're having problems with getting good customer feedback, your problem usually involves energy. If you're sleepy, like, well, that's my problem with the call center work. I'm always sleepy, so sometimes I forget to say things, or sometimes I say things incorrectly, and that's a problem, right? Um, yeah. So get enough sleep, eat healthy food, exercise if you can, and then yeah, just pay attention to your job. Just have the energy to pay attention, to say things properly. Just yeah, and that's it. And then you'll uh and the reason why I think energy is the most important thing is because every time, like, I remember my team leader just told me, like, we we had a problem with my stats are going down, and then he just told me, like, he just interviewed me about my sleeping pattern, like what time do I sleep, what time do I get home, and then he just asked me to adjust, just go to bed 30 minutes earlier, turn off the wi-fi, leave my smartphone outside the room, and that's it. top agent Top agent for sales, and then I was like super agent for a day. By super agent, that means I'm like number one overall in all the company. And I have like unbelievably high stats. I have 3 sales, and I have like 4 good customer service feedback, and my AHT is extremely low. My QA is extremely high. Like super agent, like I pass everything with flying colors. Now, if you're experiencing, say, burnout in a call center, um, yeah, well, this is going to sound repetitive, but if you're experiencing, oh yeah, yeah, going back to the struggle with the stats, same thing. You write down your problem on the notebook. Uh, Write down, like, say, my AHT is low. Um, then figure it out. What are you saying incorrectly? What are you Come here. I'd like to introduce you the second time. This is my dog. Say hi to the camera. Oh, anyway, you can sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Anyway, so yeah. Um you're stepping on my notes, I can see. So, if you have a problem with your stats, you have a problem with your KPI, if you have a problem with anything, um, just write down your problem, and then write down what's causing my problem. What are the solutions I can consider? What are the solutions I can apply? What am I forgetting? So, um, what can I improve? Is the basic question there. and then write down all the possible solutions that you can think of. And then after writing those down, you can select the best one and then you can try it out. And then the next day, you can try it out and you can keep getting better. And I became top agent in customer service feedback. I became top agent in sales because of that. So that's just what you have to remember. Okay, just use your notebook. And then if your problem is burnout, you should begin to use your call center job as a stepping stone to what you actually want to accomplish. All right, because if you're trying to, oh, client is watching. Hey there. Oh, hello. So if you're trying to so yeah, if you're experiencing burnout and you need to go back, you need to go back to the reason why you applied at the job. You need to figure out your goals. So write down, what are my goals? Why did I apply? What do I plan to spend my money on? And just write those down and then take a look. Are you achieving your goals? Are you achieving uh or are you achieving what you want to achieve? And then from there, just just figure out a plan. If the answer is yes, then it's good. If the answer is no, then what mistakes am I making? What uh what do you call that? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, figure out how can you use your call center job as a stepping stone to your um to what you're trying to do. So for example, some people they work in a call center, they didn't finish school. So maybe you can figure out how you can go back to school and finish school. Or if you're the type of person that's business minded, you'd like to think about businesses. So what do you want to go after? Like what kind of business do you want to start? And then you can study what you need to study for that. If you require skills like accounting, sales and marketing, and a bunch of those other skills, you can take a short course, right? And then, yeah, same thing. If you have a dream job, what do you need? And then you figure out how to get what you need. And that's what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. This video is a lot shorter than the one earlier, but yeah, I really don't like repeating myself. So I'm just trying to go through this as fast as possible. Things you can buy that will make your working life in a call center easier. Uh, so buy a notebook, use that as a journal, write down like everything, plans, thoughts, ideas, goals, what you want to achieve, weaknesses that you'd like to improve, and then buy some good earphones and then use your smartphone, listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks, listen to things that will make you feel better. And then make sure you get enough sleep. Buy a sleep mask. A sleep mask is one of those cloths, like if you've seen cyclists or people who ride bicycles, they have like masks to cover their face. That works. Just use that to cover your eyes, or you can just buy those sleep masks on the street. There's usually cute ones there. And then if you have extra money, buy curtains. And yeah, you just make sure you get enough sleep. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Um, oh, we have more people. Anyway, so yeah, if you have any questions, just drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. Right? Uh, Let me just. Oh yeah, I forgot to discuss this part. One of the questions that people keep asking me is like, how do you answer the question, why should I hire you? And answering that question is really difficult, like even for me, like right now. But having an answer to that question is really important because it turns out that there's a lot of people who are competing with you as far as jobs go. So, my dad always told me that there are like a lot of people being born, and there are like thousands and thousands of people who are graduating every year, and those people are going to become your competitors. Those people will apply for the jobs that you plan to apply in, and if you're not better, if you're not like higher than most of them as far as skill level goes, as far as attitude goes, then if there are only limited slots, then they're the one getting in and you're not getting the opportunity. So you always need to figure out what makes you better than everyone else. And for a long time, I have no answer to that question. And uh, during my free time, I write down stuff on my notebook. So if we've already met before, you probably saw me like or writing things down on a small notebook or small pieces of paper. And uh, it's it's just that because uh, it's there are weird situations where people will suddenly ask you out of the blue, like, what's your edge in the job application? Or like, I go to an interview and I'm not really expecting that question. I don't have a ready answer. And sometimes I lose a job opportunity because I fumble for words thinking of an answer. So it's always a good idea, like, always study yourself, always study what you're good at, um, what can you improve, what can you take to the next level, and what skills are you bad at, and maybe you can improve that to an acceptable level and you should be fine. Um, anyway, I'm getting getting tired. So, oh, more people. Who is this? Okay. Yeah. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. And uh, yeah, just leave a comment. I don't have any more lessons for you, unless yeah. Usually when I go live, there's more people at the end than when I started. So one of the practices that I can share, like, since I already asked you to get a notebook, um, I have this practice of using like one page of the notebook and just write down 10 ideas. So if you're encountering a problem, you're encountering like an obstacle in your work, you can just try writing down like 10 ideas, 10 solutions, 10 things, or like 10 questions you can ask yourself about how to solve the problem. Um, so whenever I'm stuck with a problem, I force myself to think of 10 possible solutions on a piece of paper. So whenever I do, I usually come up with a solution or a method. Because when you write things down on paper, the mind becomes free to choose the best solution and make a wise decision. And the same principle applies to math problems. And yeah, oh wait, come here. I want to go down. Oh, say hi to the people on the internet. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm done. If you have any questions, just continue sending a message, and yeah, leave a comment. And yeah, thanks for watching. You guys have a great Monday. Bye bye.